Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 8th installation of our In Real Time series. This is called How to Tell an Energetic Hell Yes from a Heck No. And why do we say it this way? Well, people tend to sort of wonder what the signs are, basically, from their own body, from their light being, as they're getting into the awakening mode and into these next stages and rounds of who they're becoming. So as we work through some of the older programs and things that we're trying to wrap up, if you want to call it that, people call it shadow work, the idea is that we get better and better and more in tune with our energetic body, with how we feel. And that is a big part of what our last episode talked about, which was getting in tune with your heart. So trusting your intuition, trusting that gut instinct for sure, but it's all linked to the heart, the true knowledge and wisdom that is embedded with your energetic heart. And that is your cosmic bridge to all that you are, all your wisdom, all your beauty, your teams, your divine support. It's all there for you. So sometimes the best way to talk about this is just, situational, right? For example, many times, let's just say you hear a song and you absolutely love it. First time out of the box, you just love hearing that song. It hits every chord within you. You're like, oh, that is so beautiful. You would listen to it 20 times in a row if you could. That's a hell yes. You hear another song, which right off the cuff, it bothers your ears, it makes you squint, you kind of turn your head and you're like, no, turn that thing off. That's a heck no. That's a hell no, but there you go. Okay, so the same thing happens in situations. It happens with decisions that we're making. It happens with opportunities that present themselves to us. It happens with people that we encounter. So sometimes for no reason at all, you're out in the mall, tons of people around, but you come into contact or near this one person and you're not sure why, but you're just not liking the vibe, right? They look fine. They look perfectly normal. There's nothing that makes you fear them. There's nothing that makes you think there's anything wrong. There's something that would abnormally affect their ability to, interact with you in a safe environment. Nothing like that. You just know, though, something is off. So guess what? If it's not a hell yes, meaning we're good, all is well, then it's time to go. That's a mild representation of it, but there you go. The same thing happens when we're in the workplace, right? You're recruiting. You're going to hire people. You have an option of 3 people to choose from. They've all made the final cut, blah, blah, blah. Chances are good you've built up enough of a rapport over the interview process and the recruitment drive process that you feel the energy of these people. Even if on paper they're not the strongest candidate or the most eloquent, maybe they're not the most articulate, maybe they didn't give the best presentation or have the biggest vision for the future of the department, the unit, the whatever, pick your poison. However, your heart knows that that person is a hell yes. That's trusting your energy, that's trusting your heart, that's trusting your gut and your intuition, that's trusting your light body and all that you are to make that right decision. If you want to think of it this way, it's so easy, but here we go. Again, your light, your energy, your soul, your spirit, all that you are is within this beautiful body that you have. Think of it like your human antenna, okay? So all this beautiful information is received and sent out through your body. I don't mean that it's just, up and down through the chakra, like your vertical pillar of light. That's definitely one way. But you have a horizontal cross of matter as well, and you have a huge light body. So if you just envision that there's this huge bubble around you of energy, that's your light body. And it has many layers to it. And as you go through those layers, it senses for you. So like I said, you walk into a party or you walk into a room, and if something has just happened that was kind of not so great, you feel the negativity of it. You feel that vibe. If something really wasn't great, like there was a big argument or a fight happened or whatever, you walk into that heaviness, your body knows. You know as you're walking into the room, right? Trust in that. And if you don't have it, start trusting in it. Hone that. You can hone that as a way forward energetically in your toolkit, okay? And as we talk about these layers, and this is something to understand, because a lot of people are like, I eat well, I do this, I do that, I meditate, I do all the things. And yet I still ended up with this disease, or I got cancer last year, or whatever. And people are like, how in the hell does that happen? They're such an amazing person. They're the best person I ever know. How does that happen to that person? Good question. Depends on their karmic story, depends on the journey that they signed up for. However, an easier way to think about it is this. What if there's a situation from that person's childhood, and it doesn't have to be the worst of the worst, okay? Let's just say that they were mildly bullied while waiting for the school bus one day. They went to put their shoes on, and I don't know, a kid pushed them down, took their shoes and ran off with them and threw them in the river. I don't know, I'm making this up, but let's just go with it, okay? And now this kid is just in their socks. They're kind of dirty. Maybe they scraped their knee up. Their shoes are long gone. And they have to go home and explain this to their parents. And there's all the things, right? It was one day, one incident. Not so bad. But boy, did that ever stick with that kid. And it never got resolved. No one apologized for it. Their parents loved them. They consoled them. They gave them new shoes, like all of the things. They bandaged the boo-boos, right? The kids pretty much forgot all about it, like whatever. But that kid didn't. And energetically, that was such a big moment in their life. It was such a big hit energetically in the negative that it kind of sunk in. It's kind of like, if you can imagine this dark, sticky substance, like glue, really, if you want to look at it that way. And it's like someone just took it and hurled it at your energetic bubble and it stuck. But it's on the outside. It's on the outermost layer. But guess what? Over the years, if you don't deal with what happened there, if you don't look at it and feel through it and acknowledge how it made you feel and kind of get through all that stuff and just say, you know what, it is what it is. I can now look at it for what it was, and I can witness that. I'm observing it from the outside, looking in at the situation of it. I recognize it for what it is. It really wasn't about me. And you let it go, right? If you can do that and let it flow through you, feel it and let it go, the chances are good that black, sticky glob that's stuck to that layer will just disintegrate, fall away, and it'll just drop off. But if you don't, and let's face it, as kids, we don't even know we have to deal with this stuff half the time. But if you don't, it starts to sort of sink in. And it starts passing through the layers. So on the outermost layer, you've got your spiritual, your astral, and it works its way in. You've got your mental plane, and then you're into your emotional, and then the final layer of the light body is the closest one to you. And it enters into the physical at the end. So if you still haven't dealt with it, still haven't dealt with the root cause of that energetic, vibrational, negative frequency that got its hooks into you, it will eventually get through all those layers and start emanating out as a physical dis-ease, right? Dis-ease, lack of ease. So whether it is cancer, or whether it is an autoimmune disease, or whether it is mental health and wellness issues, anxiety, whatever, it will pop up somewhere. And it will force you to look at it and deal with it. And if you still don't, then we deal with the physical emanation of it, which of course half the time is cutting stuff out or radiation or whatever, right? Medical, pharmaceutical, whatever quote unquote medical way that a lot of people deal with it. Hopefully people turn to plant medicine or homeopathic or naturopathic and try to deal with it in a very holistic fashion, which would include looking at it energetically, going into meditative state and dealing with it from the inside out. So there's a little clue as to why it's so important to understand the energetic body and how things work, and then how, yes, we send stuff out, and yes, we receive stuff in, and sometimes the things that we receive aren't what we wished for, and if we don't take the time to be in that present moment and address it as it's happening, kind of latches on until you do. So another way to think of the energetic hell yes, for me, I'll use the example from my own life. I get this sort of feeling of champagne bubbles. That's a way to think about it. And if I'm kind of going within and saying, is this for me? What do I think about this? And I kind of wait. I ask the question to myself, not even out loud, just be in your mind. You just ask yourself the question, was this really a good thing? And you wait. And there is a feeling from within, and it's this warm, bubbling up, gorgeous, joy-filled, almost like champagne bubbles coming up. Sometimes it comes from what we call the Dantian area, which is the sort of the navel area, which is that sacral chakra somewhere in there in the solar plexus. Sometimes it emanates up from there. But many times, when someone says, oh, that was such a heartwarming moment? Yeah, that's a hell yes. A heartwarming, you feel it from the inside out. It is gooey good. And then, of course, there's the other side, which we've already talked about. I think it was just in the previous episode I mentioned the sparkles, or their sparkly feeling. Basically, it kind of feels like if someone energetically touched the back of your head or neck, and it's that connection and it's all kind of sparkly. That's how it feels sometimes. And to me, that's my angelic connection, or my higher self, or my team that come in, and it's kind of like they're just laying a little hand on my head or my shoulder or something and says, this is good. This is for you. That's another way to get an energetic hell yes. It's not coming necessarily from within. It's coming from your team, but you are aware enough in that present moment to tune in to what you're feeling in your energetic body. And that is really important. It also is important because sometimes you can get like a rushing feeling, that whooshing feeling. I have also heard it described as this sort of goosebumps, I guess you want to call it that way. You can get goosebumps. You can get for real goosebumps, and that's definitely an energetic yes, no, maybe so, whatever. Your interpretation, you do you. But for others, it's almost like energetic goosebumps, and you kind of feel it all over the place, and it's kind of cool. You can get cold sensations, hot sensations, and it's all within your energetic field and within your actual physical body. Pay attention. Everything is energy. I know we've discussed this many times, but for the purposes of the sake of this conversation of physical versus energy, we'll just call it that. So something that is good to remember for energetic hell yes is that you need to have good energy hygiene to be able to discern this, truly get good at discerning this. And what do I mean by that? We talked about that kind of dark globs that can attach, right? It can be a situation, but sometimes it's stuff that you experience in your astral when you're dreaming, because whether you remember your dreams or not, everyone is in the astral when they dream, when they go to sleep. And out there in the astral, you can pick up stuff. You do really good work when you're in the astral plane. You do necessary soul-satisfying journey work. You may never remember it, and that's totally okay. But you may bring something not wanted back with you. And I'm not talking about negative, unwanted spirits or the things that people associate with that. It doesn't have to take that kind of a form. It can just be, maybe in your dream, you ended up getting in a car accident. You were fine in the end, but it kind of left a bit of a negative vibe, even within the dream in the astral plane. And even though you resolve things around it and it's all good, you may pull back a little tiny bit of that negative vibe with you. And that comes upon waking. So what do? The best thing that people do, and they don't even think about it, if you go take a bath or a shower in the morning, just imagine that beautiful living water running all over you and cleaning away all the grime. Not just the dirt you can see, but the energetic grime that you may have picked up in your day or overnight or whatever it is. That's part one. And a bath with salts, like Epsom salts, is phenomenal, just by the way, both for cleansing and for grounding. So anytime we have the water and it runs over us, and we're talking not chlorinated, not polluted water, like beautiful, pristine water running over you, it always cleanses and clears. Water not only carries wisdom and intelligence and meaning, but it carries healing within. The energy frequency of water is healing. Think of how much the human body is composed of water. It is life-giving for a reason. It holds frequency and it heals. For instance, if a stream is consistently running, it generally will not stagnate because that water keeps refreshing, it keeps moving through, which is why it's so important not just to shower and bathe and do those things, but to drink water consistently throughout your day. And the more alkaline, the better. The less impurities, the better. And you do you. You find the water that works best for you. But please do energetically cleanse outside and inside with water every single day as much as you can, within health standards, of course. Hygiene also can take the form of playing beautiful, high-frequency music throughout your day. And that could be solfeggio frequencies. You'll consistently see videos on YouTube that are like 528 hertz, 432, all different frequencies. They are high vibe sounds, high vibe frequencies that not only cleanse you and your body, but the air around you, your home environment, wherever you have it playing and that sound carries, that frequency will help to cleanse and clear the energy around you, whether it's your home, your car, you name it. And of course, if you have earbuds in, there's even greater. You can also do it through all natural incense and things like that. And it doesn't have to be the kind that releases smoke. There is also smokeless incense or other types of incense that you can burn, even when it comes to just loose incense that releases all the beautiful plant medicine into the air. Incense that people burn that smoke into the air for just a little while. It's been shown that over 90% of particulate in the air will come out of the air. If there is viral or bacterial component to the air, incense smoke will be shown to be able to grab onto that and pull it out of the air and remove it and cleanse the air for you. So that's why it's so important that when you use incense, that it is as natural as possible, because of course you want that cleansing, healing hygiene. You want that cleansing smoke to do its job, not to add to the issue. Another important part of energetic hygiene is meditation, or doing what we would call hygienic light activations. There are YouTubes, you guys can look this up. There are plenty of people out there that do them. Again, use your discernment. Trust your heart, trust your body. When you lock onto something that sounds really good, a beautiful morning meditation, walking you through, connecting you to your higher self, they're walking you through creating an energy bubble around you or a pyramid of light around you. Many times it's a rainbow frequency pyramid. And they get you to sort of set up layer after layer of energetic boundaries that will be with you throughout your entire day. And many times people say it's there to protect you. You can look at it that way. I tend to look at it as we are all sovereign beings. We are all of the universe, of God, of the Creator. Whatever is your story, please go with that. But the idea is you are a sovereign being. We don't really require protection per se, but it is always an excellent practice to have additional layers of loving energy around you to support you during your day as you go about doing what you need to do. And those are the things that you can set up each and every morning as a morning practice. I myself sort of do it in triplicate. So when I wake in the morning, not only do I play a series of light clearing YouTube videos that are light language activations as well and frequency cleansing. So in the series that I tend to run for myself, It is the one that will clear out like astral connections that no longer serve, negative debris picked up, clearing out any energetic portals that may have got a little gunky overnight, things like that, or just during the day. Sometimes I'll come home and I'll run the series again because I know that I've crossed paths with some pretty interesting situations. I know I've picked up some lower vibe stuff or exposed myself to it or partaken in it or created it, We're not perfect all the time, that's for sure. So when we do it, gotta clear, right? Put the incense on, put on the YouTube videos, put on the light activations, do it. Go through the light language, go through the meditations, get centered, get present, go within, connect into your heart, really feel into the inside of who you are energetically. Whatever your focus is, just go with it. Get connected, get clear, get clean, and get ready for the new every single day. It's like doing energetic math every day. It's like, what adds up here that I need to do for myself so that I have an awesome day today? Do that. Make it a daily practice, and you'll find that you don't even think about it anymore. And you will do meditations or off-the-cuff little sort of mantras for yourself in the car, at the workplace, wherever you are, because it will become so embedded. It is the new you, and that's where we're all going. We are getting better at handling these energies because we're getting better at hygiene we practice daily to show up as our best selves with the best energetic boundaries and layers of support that we create around us. Again, whether it's bubbles of light, rainbow pyramids of light, whether it's calling in your dragons and their fire frequencies, all of it. You find what works for you. You do you. I also use crystals. Crystals are high vibe frequency. They are amazing sentient beings. They store wisdom and knowledge. And if you're wondering about that, just think about a computer chip. What has humanity figured out how to do? Oh, that's right. They've learned to store gobs of information on a tiny, tiny, tiny little crystal chip. So just think about how much intelligence is in a crystal that you can hold in your hand. Think about the energy and the wisdom and the high vibration that's in one of those. I always highly recommend that people purchase some crystals to get them started, and there's all sorts of information out there on that. And when you are drawn to a specific crystal, if you see one in a store shop or whatever, if it calls out to you, if you're like, oh, that's so beautiful, trust me, it's for you, pick that up. Pick it up. Hopefully you buy it and take it home. Treat it lovingly, and it will bless you beyond measure. Crystals are amazing when it comes to setting up grids and other things that help us as we go through meditations and other points of energetic connection. One other aspect of how to do energetic hygiene, and it's highly overlooked, and we kind of mentioned it in a previous video, it's called sun gazing. Now, I'm not a medical doctor, and if you have any questions, please consult your local practitioner. However, in the early hours of the sunrise and the last final hour of that sunset, I have found for myself that I have been able to gaze directly at the sun for over an hour at each juncture of the day. And it's a soft gazing. It's not an intense gazing. It's a soft gazing. And honestly, if the sun rises even behind a little bit of fog, haze, or cloud, it makes it even easier. Why? Because there are colors and energies that are emanating from the sun unlike anything you've ever seen. When I tell you that you can softly gaze at the sun and see beautiful colors of blue and pink and lemon yellow and emerald green, teal blue, copper, rose, magenta, like amazing colors that seem to just sort of float out of the sun, and it can fill up the whole sky. It can be such a fuchsia pink like you've never seen. Those are the energies and the frequencies that are coming through the sun, and they are purposefully to get you into the highest potential energetic vibration and frequency for your day as possible, And it's there at the end of the day to finish out your day and get you rested and get you ready for the most high vibe evening possible. Okay, so I will leave you with that. I welcome you to do your research, look things up, give it a shot for just a little bit and see what happens. Try not to let fear lead the way. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope this helped you in some way, measure, or form today. I am so grateful to be able to share these stories and this wisdom and knowledge with you to help you on your path, because I know that as I'm helping you guys right now, there is going to be a time in the future when you're going to be right here like me in my seat doing this for someone else. And it doesn't matter if it's a YouTuber or talking to a group of kids or being in a retirement home and talking to a group of people there, even talking to your local community, or if you're a politician, you're talking to a much larger community. But the idea is this: you will have an audience for this. You will have an audience for your story one day, and the knowledge and the stories that you tell are going to help someone else. So I am so grateful today to be able to tell you mine with the knowledge that it will help someone today, whatever today is for you when you hear this. Because by the way, any of these recordings are good for a lifetime. It doesn't matter when you hear it. It is as though you heard it in the moment that I created it. It's its own little energetic capsule or bubble. And the frequency and the intensity and the good loving vibes that I imbue into all of these are with you every time you listen to it in the moment that you're with me. So thank you for being here in this moment of here, no space, and no time. Many blessings to you, and I'll see you on the inside.